There's a lot of emotion coming from the other side of the aisle, but as a really good friend has told me before, facts don't care about your feelings. And if you look at the facts, it's pretty clear the difference between the Democrats, Obama and Biden, and President Trump. Let's just look at Russia. It's not a coincidence that Vladimir Putin moved into Crimea and parts of Georgia when President Obama was in office. And then for the 4 years President Trump was in office, there were 0 military incursions. And then as soon as Joe Biden took office, he moves into Ukraine. Actions speak louder than words. Again, those facts don't care about your feelings. Let's look at Ukraine. You want to talk about conditioning aid? Joe Biden conditioned lethal aid on Ukraine, forcing the Ukrainians to fire a prosecutor that was investigating a corrupt oil and gas company that Hunter Biden just happened to be on the board of. I'll let you draw your own conclusions on that, but it's very clear that Joe Biden actually did what President Trump was wrongfully impeached for, and then he actually bragged about it on TV. He also had many missteps. Remember, at the beginning of the lead up to the war, Joe Biden said that we would tolerate a quote-unquote minor incursion into Ukrainian territory, just whetting the appetite of Vladimir Putin. And then when the Russians did invade, Joe Biden slow-walked lethal aid. Where were the MiGs that were sent? Why didn't we get the Ukrainians anti-aircraft air batteries? Why didn't we jam the electronic abilities of the Russians to make sure that they didn't have air superiority? The Ukrainians still don't have the lethal aid because Joe Biden and its far-left radical administration slow-walked the aid from the beginning of this war. It's been an absolute disaster because of Joe Biden's incompetence and the incompetence of those he surrounds himself with. And I find it very rich to then attack President Trump's record on Israel. Who was the first U.S. president to move the embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem? It was Donald Trump, making him the most pro-Israeli president we've ever had. Who was it that had the Abraham Accords? It wasn't Joe Biden. That was President Trump who had the Abraham Accords. If he was a Democrat, he would have won 2 Nobel Peace Prizes for that. And then let's not forget about Joe Biden, who still, up to today, is calling for a ceasefire when our #1 ally in the world, Israel, is fighting for its life against a terrorist organization in Hamas. And people across the aisle and people in the White House are calling for a ceasefire on that. I think that's absolutely unacceptable. And for all the talk about supporting our fellow democracies, let me remind you that there's one thriving democratic state in the Middle East. There's only one democracy in the Middle East. That's Israel. It would be nice if my friends across the aisle would support that democracy. But with that, I'd like to yield 3 minutes to my good friend from the state of New York, Representative Langworthy.